Oh man, that was good.
All right, Corey and Joe with you here today. Piper is on vacation. A lot of our gym, I don't know, we had what, 10-ish teams? I thought we had more signed up.
We had a lot. We had
Yeah.
a whole guap of people.
If you follow the Instagram, you saw the picture. I think the only person that was missing from the picture was Jordan.
Oh yeah.
So we had, double-digit teams at Floater Fest. So we're going to talk a little bit about competing, why you should compete. But one thing I want to talk about that is kind of annoying me, and I'll say some of it's somewhat from jealousy of success, but not most of it. I see a lot of people online selling personal training or personal programming. These same people were flipping houses 2 years ago.
Yeah.
In 2 years, they're going to be something else. They're jumping on whatever the hot trend is to sell, and they're really good salesmen.
Yeah.
Or saleswomen.
Salespeople.
They're really good at promoting themselves or promoting whatever they're doing, and 100% from my angle, I'm completely jealous about that. I am not a good self-promoter or a promoter of my gym or a promoter of coaches or what we do. I'm just not a good promoter.
Yeah, I say neither one of us are very good at, I guess,
we just think
marketing, sales.
Yeah,
side
we just
of
think
everything.
be really good at what you do,
Yeah.
and it'll become obvious to people. And it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Not well enough.
I would say, yeah, some people kind of catch on, but a lot of the times it kind of goes under the radar.
So if you're looking for personal programming or personal training, just run it up a flagpole on who's selling it to you, what they did before, how old or young their fitness account is. And again, that's not to say you can't start from day one and be amazing.
Right.
But if you're seeing these people, you're seeing their interest shifts a lot, and they're just jumping on hotter trends. So when we're talking about personal programming or personal training, if they're not screening you, it's not personal.
Red flag number one.
If you're not if you're not at least sending videos, and I mean, depending on the rate that you're paying, if you're not sending several videos for coaching and constant feedback, it's not personal training. It's not personal programming. They went. You said, hey, I want bigger glutes. And they Googled big glute program. They found Brett Contreras' Instagram page. And they slapped together some 8 workouts that he did. And they changed it enough, maybe, to not be intellectual property theft.
Maybe.
And you just paid $150 for 5 minutes of Google research.
And that's kind of another quick red flag. Is it's like, what were they doing a few years ago? Like, how old is this page? But then also, like, what's their price point? What do they have to gain?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with personal programming, like, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. If you're paying a personal coach, I don't even know, $50 for a personal program, it's not a personal program. It's a quick Google search.
And again, our programming, those of our members that have left or whatever, I leave them on. Right? It's programming. It's not personal. I could very easily change 2 things and then tell you it's personal programming, but that doesn't make it personal programming. And we don't even charge for it.
Right.
It costs me a little bit of access, or it costs me a little bit of money to have you in Access and Sugar Wad, but I just aligns with my values. I'd rather you be out there getting fit and following world-class programming. Instead of making up your own things or going to these leeches that are just trying to take your money. And, you heard me say world-class programming. We don't program it, okay? The programming that you see from us, it's just our gym access. We pay for it, and you get that. So I'm not even tooting my own horn there.
Right.
I don't know. I've seen it a lot. And just because the person's fit or whatever else doesn't mean they know how to program for you. And this still isn't even to tell you not to do it. Just understand what you're actually getting when you pay for this. If it's helping you be successful, by all means, I'm not trying to rain on your parade. But you can also just go and Google any workout template. And with 5 minutes, you can figure out what to do. And maybe you're paying them for accountability. And they're calling it personal programming. That's fine as well. Accountability is very valuable.
It is.
And I'm not saying none of this stuff is without value. I see a lot of people that are now all of a sudden fitness experts that were completely gone. I don't see any certifications by their names. Yeah, they've got abs or they've got muscles. That's great. That doesn't mean you should be telling somebody else how to do their workouts.
That doesn't really necessarily carry over into like what knowledge they have.
Yeah.
And you got two guys here that see you every day or most days that also do that.
And honestly, probably what we tell you is that you don't need personal programming. You just need to come to the gym.
It really.
And we try to save you money and not get any more ourselves. So we're not the most brilliant business people.
We really aren't. If we could do this and pay our bills off of like feel goods and successes,
or like muscles, just be like, hey, I'm here to pay my electric bill.
Yeah, like we wouldn't charge you guys because that's the part we like the least. It's just the necessary evil.
Yeah. So just a quick little shot on that again. And if you're considering buying personal programming from somebody, ask one of us if we think it's personal programming or if it's worth the price. We'll look at it.
Yeah.
I will tell you at that point, we will then try to sell you on us versus them. While we buy programming, we're very capable of doing it. It's just the easiest thing for us to apply to class that saves us a lot of time. And we go through and look at it and we tweak it.
We change.
Listen, there's 2 other gyms that run the exact same programming as us in town. I don't think anybody would say our gyms are still the same.
No, they're wildly different.
Didn't say better or worse.
Just different.
So if you're one of the gyms that runs the same program as us, this is not an insult to you. It's that programming is programming. Then it's how you coach it. Then it's how you apply it. It's how you create member buy-in on what you've got going on.
Yeah. Make your tweaks and changes.
You may be wildly successful at it. I don't know. I don't really watch. I just know that you guys are on the programming because you're on the affiliate map, right? So not disparaging or anything. Not even telling you not to do the programming. I wouldn't care if every gym in town did the same programming as us. Yeah. It wouldn't be. I guess I would care a little bit, but like our difference is not programming.
No,
it's not. It's coaching. It's coaching, location, environment, price. It's not programming.
No. And that's, I would say, if you go to any like affiliate workshop or anything, they'll say the exact same. They'll be like, your programming doesn't matter.
Yep.
Your coaching and the environment you've created. And
Are people having fun with you? Because if they're not having fun, they're not coming back. And that was one video idea I had, and we'll talk about it at some point, but it was basically like, what's the number one thing that you're trying to get out of a class, right? And we can talk about whether it's getting RX, getting skills, having fun, getting the stimulus. And I think it's an important talk, but we're not going to talk about that today. What we are going to talk about, however, is why you should compete.
Why should we compete?
Why should we compete, Corey?
So, and yesterday, while I was standing, I guess, thigh deep in that goopy lake, it was a muddy mofo. I got seaweed in my toes. Well, if you ask my wife, she said I was overwhelming. And I had a couple members of our gym that were like, man, you're just like a little social butterfly today. And then I was like, man, like, everyone should compete, do a competition, we'll say. I don't even say compete. Everyone should do a competition because it was just a ton of fun. Yeah. And a lot of people get that like pre-workout anxiety. And I'm going to tell you right now, like, I don't know how many comps I've done. I don't know how many workouts I've done total. I still get that. That happens. Everyone gets that. It could be a fun run 5K and I still get a little bit nervous for it and anxious for it. And I feel like it just comes with territory. One
thing I've tried to tell myself about anxiety, especially with events or something like that, or nervousness, is instead of reframing and is allowing it to be a negative, reframing it as like, this means I care.
Yeah.
This means about how I care about how I conduct myself. My attention to effort and all that other stuff. Anxiety means I care. Mm-hmm. And so now I can frame what sometimes is a negative as to a positive. And I think that's another reason to compete is because you're going to get anxiety. Yeah. You're going to have failure. But it's about the least severe failure you can really have. And you're learning how to deal with failure.
Yeah.
Where else in life does that happen? Everywhere.
And
you're going to deal with anxiety and failure and not living up to a boss's expectations or anything like that.
Like, you're going to mess up.
You're going to mess up. And this is a very low risk
There's
place.
no risk.
Yeah. And you get to learn how to deal and process those things. And that's just from the like life side. We're not even talking about why competitions are beneficial to your fitness side.
Yeah.
But
that was part of it. Like, so Josh and I did the terrible axle workout that I actually liked more than the thruster one.
Those lunges. That was the one I was most nervous about doing with you. And for those of you who don't know, I was originally Corey's partner.
We
I
both
had to
had
bail.
mustaches.
Yeah.
You guys missed that.
I had to bail after 2 events because another competitor got hurt, and I needed to drive them home. So I had to withdraw, and then we found somebody else to take my spot.
Yep. So Josh and I did it together, and after that workout, he said, we got it done, whatever. We asked Darrell and Kyle like what their score was, and I think they actually beat us by like 4 or 5 seconds on it. And Josh was like, man, that makes me more mad. Like, if I could go back, I could do that better. And I was like, man, like that's.
He's like, can't go back. We can only go forward, but do better.
And he said that too. He's like, do you ever feel like that? And I was like, dude, all the time. Yeah. All the time. And that's one of the valuable things about competition is because you look back on it and you're like, man, like I could have done this better. I want to put a focus on this. Yeah. Like in my training, I need to work on this a little bit because I can do better.
That's exactly what I'd say is when you're in here, you don't realize the seconds that matter in your transition. You don't realize that grabbing that chalk bucket and sitting there eats up time or your transition or your walk away. And yeah, you may see it on the whiteboard, but you don't care.
Right. Not as much.
Yeah.
And when I say everyone should do a competition, I honestly like for me, and I think it needs to be a partner team competition because here's the dealio. You're going to quit on yourself before you quit on someone else.
Yep.
For the most part. And that was the thing, like going into it, he was he was nervous. And he's like,
I was somewhat surprised he didn't just be like, "Oh, I'll drive Piper home."
Yeah, and he was like, he was nervous. Oh man, I don't want to let you down, this and that. And I was like, dude, you won't. I know you won't. Like he tries hard, he does good. Like he listens. Like, and that's when I was like, man, everyone needs to do a partner team comp because you're not going to push yourself near as hard if it's just you.
Yeah.
But if you know there's someone waiting for you and counting on you, you are going to give it everything you got.
Yeah, and I'd even say that in the gym, and I know there's several people that don't like partner workouts, and I will say some of our partner workouts lack real partnership, and that's something I'm going to take a look at, seeing if I can't make those better. This is the tweaking of the program we were thinking about.
A little more partnery.
But I'll say, when I used to go to the gym before I owned it, I didn't love partner workouts. I didn't see the value in them. I also wasn't competing. And when I opened up the gym, we had a couple of partner workouts. And it honestly broke my heart sometimes because I'd see the people without a partner. Mm-hmm. And it would continually be the same people. And not even athletic ability, but just shyness. Mm-hmm. Right? And they'd kind of sink to the back. And it was like, well, I'm not going to get picked. So then they put themselves further back to make it a reality where they don't get picked. And then it's the person not getting picked and blah, 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 blah. And that gave me anxiety because I care. I don't want to see somebody's feelings get hurt. And so I was like, I'm going to go away from partner workouts. And then I don't know when it was, but I did a partner with somebody workout. And I was always afraid of letting my partner down, yada, yada, yada. But once I had started the workout, it didn't even matter about letting them down. It was whether I did or didn't. It was that I didn't want to. So I tried way harder.
Yeah.
I got one of my best workouts that I had had in a long time. And I was like, maybe I was wrong about partner workouts. Yeah. And now I love them. I love partner workouts.
Partner workouts are great.
I don't want to be with somebody miles ahead of me on fitness, but also I don't want to not be that because I'm a very rising tide raises all ships kind of guy. And I think a lot of people think, oh, this super fit person isn't going to want to work out with me. As I said last week, balderdash.
There's no...
The super fit person wants you to see that you can be there as well.
Right. And that's,
no super fit person in CrossFit wants to keep somebody down.
No.
We would waste more of our energy trying to build you up and pull you up to us than we would pushing you down.
And that's like getting into a partner workout. Like one of two things that can happen. You're either going to be the fitter partner. Usually there's not a perfect match.
Oh yeah.
Especially with CrossFit and having all the different variants and movements, and you're going to have one partner that's going to struggle more than the other. So you're either the struggling partner that hey man, you're getting in there, you're pushing through, man.
Yep.
And you're going to get a great workout, and you're going to find out that you can probably do a lot more than you think you can because you were worried about letting your teammate down.
Yep.
So you dug deep and you pushed hard.
Yep.
Or you're the second of the two, where maybe like these are your strength movements, and you're doing a little better in the workout. This is going to teach you. This is going to bring you up watching someone, like any workout I've ever done with someone who has maybe struggled a little bit on it. Like that hypes me up more.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, look how hard they're trying. Now I got to try harder. And there's never been a partner workout I've done with anyone that I've been like, I'm getting too much rest. I'm just not getting a good workout in.
And if it's a well-designed partner workout, then you tap in for your partner.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the video, you talked about it. The competition with Josh on the bike, the goal was 12 and 12.
Yep.
You get back on the bike for the last round. You see there's 16. You figure you're going to go 8 and 8. You look over at your partner. They're not ready.
Yeah.
So you just say, hey, I got you.
I got this. Like, you are going to help. You're going to step up when it's time.
Yep.
I'm going to step up now because it's my time. And that's what you do with each other.
Yeah. And so, again, aside from fitness, you realize there's people that you can count on.
Yep.
You also realize that people can count on you when the time comes. Yep. When you see somebody struggling, that you're going to step up and you're going to take care of it. And I think that's really cool. Again, there's well done partner workouts, there's well done comps, and when you're at those, it's a cool experience. And it's, as I said on the Instagram yesterday, listen, at the higher end, we want to win. I'm not going to sit here and lie and tell you that we don't want to win, but outside of actually being on the podium, I can never tell you where I placed, but I can tell you if I had fun at the comp.
Yeah.
I can tell you something else about that comp that was cool. And generally, it may be a workout thing, but it's also going to be the relationships.
Yeah.
When you come to class, you've got an hour. That's lead. That's broken down. Sometimes there's free time, but there's, there's not always.
Yeah.
But these types of things, like you have time to like connect and forge relationships. Whether that's with somebody in the gym or somebody else. Mel, Corey's wife, is getting ready to do a competition with somebody next week, and she met her via comps. Yep. And, they just started talking. They found out they liked each other. There's our gyms are 45 miles apart, but, that's a new relationship there. And that came from just being at a competition.
Yeah. Like I met one of the guys on the winning team.
Yeah.
And we were talking in between events, he'd come up and he'd say, how'd that go? And then we'd end up chatting. I got to talk to the owner or one of the coaches out of
TAH.
It was Red Horse.
Oh.
Red Horse Fitness. It's the one Jamie goes to.
Okay.
And it was just is neat because we all have a commonality, so it's easy to talk to people because you already
start on the commonality and then you find out cool things about the person that are different.
Yeah, and that's the cool part is you can go up to anyone at those competitions, and you already have something in common that you can start a conversation with.
Yep.
Yo, man, how'd that workout go? Clearly, they're there for the workout, so they're going to talk to you about it, and then you get to.
And maybe you meet a partner for the 340, or you meet a partner for a mountain bike racing, or
any of that
kind of stuff. And that's networking 101, but we're giving you a huge commonality. And I think that's one of the things that I've told people, like, just in general, like, I move to a new town, the first thing I'm doing is establishing my CrossFit box.
You've got to find your gym.
Because then you're going to find your chiropractor, you're going to find your mechanic, you're going to find your doctor.
You're going to find
if you're religious, you're going to find your church.
Yeah, man. Like your realtor or whoever it is.
You're going to find everybody that you want to find in a CrossFit gym.
I'm trying to think of like people we have in here, and there's not a profession in here that we don't have that I could think of.
Yeah.
Like, you need you got your cat stuck in a tree? I know a firefighter. I'll call Eric. You hurt your finger, I don't know, doing something goofy. Like, we got PTs, more PTs than you could shake a stick at. Like, surgeons, doctors, like, they're all in the gym.
Yep.
And you already have a common interest.
Yep. Yeah. And so that was the beat for us to wrap up in the next 5 minutes, keeping these videos shorter. And I would, on the other end of competition, it gives your training a little bit more meaning. At a certain point, you are healthy, right? And I'm not saying you need to increase your training to 2 or 3 hours a day, but if you're already healthy, you're already living life as, say, you want, it can sometimes be harder to move that needle. Competitions help you move that needle, or at least stay focused to where the needle doesn't regress.
Yeah.
If we're, a ship without a port is just wandering, right? No wind is favorable if you know not which way you're going. So, like, as long as you have a direction in mind, and I think a comp can lead that direction, it helps everything else fall in line. There's so many things. Start with the end in mind. It helps build out that process. One of the fun things that I was told by, honestly, it was supposed to be my business partner's now ex-wife. She was like, at what number of members are you successful? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, well, if you don't know that, how do you know when you're done?
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
That's deep.
That was very simple, but I let it permeate and go through, and like, I have to know what my level of success is, otherwise I'm never going to reach it.
Yeah. Well, it's that.
Yeah.
A goal without a plan is just a dream. Like, you got to have a plan. You got to have an end.
Yep.
And
you can't have a plan if you don't have a goal.
Right. And even if the goal is, temporary, like a competition is a temporary goal, but it helps you get, even if you're not going to add, you don't need to come in here, and that's not what we're saying. Don't come in here.
I'm not telling you to add volume.
But it is going to make that 1 hour that you're in here a little focused. Bit more, focused, a little bit more intentional.
Yep.
When there is a goal ahead.
Yep.
When there's that kind of like end in mind.
Yep.
Temporary end.
And I just, at the end of the day, like, I think it's cool to call yourself a competitor.
Yeah, it's fun. And like, I've done many a comp in my day where I have not podiumed. Oh man, a lot of just getting my ass whooped. And I've never regretted doing a competition when I was done. Now they're in the middle of it.
Yeah, the 3 to 5 days or whatever before, depending on how serious the comp is when my anxiety turns on.
Oh man, and like even this one, I was like, man, I don't want to do this.
I'd say my anxiety turns on when I can no longer affect the outcome.
Yeah.
I don't have enough time to train,
right?
Or it won't really acquire anything. Yeah. Really, all I can do is make myself worse or sore. But that's when my anxiety, I no longer have control.
Well, and then you can see it. Like, when you sign up a few months before, it's there. But when you see it the week on your calendar, it's like, ooh, it's starting to set in now. And like, again, there have been comps where in the middle of the competition, like HOA that year we did it, after the first workout, I was like, man, I do not belong here. I do not want to do this. But when it was all said and done, and honestly, after like the next day, once I like got back to the hotel and got my mind right, like I was glad. I had a really good time. I enjoyed it, and you always learn. Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, you're gonna get a great workout. Holy cow! Like, even yesterday, like, all those workouts were for fun. A little sore today.
Yeah. And also, like, okay, it's $80 to $100 a person, most comps. Is that money? Yes. But it's 10 hours.
And that's money well spent.
It's well spent, and
And
let's break it down. You're paying $8 to $10 an hour. I don't know. You go to dinner. You're gonna pay $80 and you're gonna be there for an hour.
Maybe an hour, yeah.
Okay. Maybe you don't care about the shirt. Honestly, and I will say this: one of the things I love about Florida Fest, I love their shirts.
I forgot about mine. It's in my house. I haven't looked.
I have 3 shirts. I love every single one of them. Really? I think they do a really good job on their shirts. They're cool designs. They're fun. So like for me, like that's part of the value right there. Yeah. But you know those things cost money on the competition host side, and the price is not set out of whack. For what you get.
They're not making, a huge profit.
Yeah, I'm not driving a Ferrari after a successful competition.
Right.
But I think that sometimes it can be hard. You look at the sticker price and you think $80 to pay for a workout when I already have a gym membership, but you're not paying for a workout.
No,
you're paying for an experience.
An entire day, or sometimes 2 or 3. Yeah. Of usually very well thought out, well planned workouts.
Yep.
You've got just the planning that goes into setting up the heats and the competition. Like it, if people could see like,
I was gonna say, like, if you ever wanted to see how much we put into it, I could put a video camera on my wife.
Yeah.
The 3 weeks leading up to a comp, and you're gonna see her
it's chaos.
4 hours a night.
Yeah. So like
down there putting stuff together.
Yeah,
so a lot of work does go into it, and that's that explains the price a little bit. But really, again, just want to focus back on you as competitors. Like, just try competition. If this resonated with y'all at all and you never competed and you want to compete, let us know.
Dude, we've messed everything up you could ever imagine.
Yeah, at both on the competition as an individual side and as a competition as a host side, we've made a lot of the mistakes. Another point that we didn't really touch on, but it can motivate skill acquisition. And again, I'll use your wife as an example. She signed up for this comp with the person that she met at another comp. And in intermediate level, they had handstands. And I think it had probably been a goal of hers for a little while, but there wasn't enough motivation to kick it over.
Right. Until
they signed up for this comp. And I don't know, it's maybe been a month since she signed up for the comp. Mm-hmm. She's been in here working on it. She's now upside down on her hands. Yeah. I don't know how far she's walking, but if she's posted it on Instagram, so she's at least inverted.
Well, I'll say if you could see where that started, like it's come a long way.
Yeah, and that's because of a comp. Yes, she had always had handstand walking on her list, but it hadn't become important enough, and a competition helped that.
It motivated.
And now she's got to win, and now I'm more capable than what I thought, and I can acquire this or I can acquire that, and I think that's really powerful. Mm-hmm. When you can set a goal and check it off in a minimal risk environment. I think, like, if she had asked you, like, hey, teach me how to handstand walk, and she wasn't your wife, and you're like, okay, this is outside of class, how much would it cost, right? Mm-hmm. If it costs more than $80,
might as well.
Just
do the comp.
So just do the comp and have the motivation to do it. Because sometimes what you're lacking is motivation and urgency, and it's not actually
it's not the knowledge,
a deficiency.
It's not you don't have some crazy issue where you can't do it. It's just you're not necessarily motivated.
Yeah, you just don't have enough urgency or motivation to it.
And then you see it pop up. Well, I know, like for me with pistols, I was like, those are stupid. I'll never do those. I hate them.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't. And then one year we had them in the open, and I got wrecked. Couldn't do one. And after that, I was like, man,
I'm going to figure out
how to do pistols. So when they come up in competition, like they will, I got them.
Great segue. This week, we start our pistol progression.
Hey.
So in class, we've transitioned off the rope climb, which I'll just be honest, we don't always make time for. Right. We've gone, I think this is our 3rd year with a rope climb progression. Gets kind of stale.
Pistol progression, I like.
Yeah, but I think this is our first time with a pistol progression, so we'll be focusing on those. First couple of weeks is just going to be about mobility and stuff like that, and hopefully we see some people get their first pistol. Again, like always on our skill acquisitions, we don't always have enough time in class, but I'm always going to encourage you to find the time to get those in. We have lots of space for you in the gym. So Hopefully you gleaned some information from this. Hopefully you got motivated. We have a comp coming up. Hopefully you consider competing in that. Again, just because you can't do a skill doesn't mean that you shouldn't sign up. And even if the day of the competition you still can't do the skill,
you'll figure it out.
You get a 0.
Yeah.
No, you finished last in that event. Whoopity-doo. And honestly, in our competitions, if you tell me straight up you can't do the weight but you still want to compete, I'm going to be like, all right, take the weight off.
Like, we'll figure it out.
But you're going to be in last place.
Yeah.
But you still get to have a workout. You still get to have fun.
You still get to progress.
You're going to tell me like, oh, I can't snatch, 135. I'm going to be like, okay, what can you snatch? And you're going to say 115. And I'm going to say, okay, we're going to try 120.
Yep.
Or depending on like what the workout is, we're still going to push you. That may not be our job in a competition, but that's our job intrinsically, is to make everybody that we interact with better. Or it's our goal.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not our job, and maybe we don't always hit our goal. But I think
we're going to try, damn it.
I think intrinsically we want you to understand workouts better. We want you to move better. We want you to have a better mindset. We want you to have a better day because you interacted with us. Yep. We're not trying to leave you negative. And I think that just carries over through everything we do.
Yep.
Hope to see you at a competition. Let us know if you're interested, want to talk more. Yeah. And,
get out there and compete.
Yep. But get in the gym here first and train to compete.
Yeah. Don't raw dog it. That'd be bad.
Like and subscribe. Thank y'all.